We have fire. It's burning down pretty good now. Just wasted all this time and effort. Let's give this another shot. Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill, glad you could join me. Today we're going to take a look at the square lashing. Stay tuned. Well, I'm right in the middle of a project out here and not really sure exactly how it's going to turn out, but I'm constructing this entire operation here using square lashings. So I figured it would be a nice addition to the knotcraft series that I've been filming this year. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach that to this vertical piece, this horizontal piece to the vertical piece using a square lashing. I just did this one here and a bunch of others. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the camera and shall return. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm just using cheap, this is really cheap cordage I picked up for like $3 for a big roll for a couple 100 feet. What I'm building here is for another video, and it's just for demonstration purposes, so I wasn't going to use like bank line or anything nice for it. So, but anyways, the square lashing is one of the most valuable lashings that you can know. It's used predominantly for constructing things in a primitive environment, and it's used to connect usually two poles or two pieces of wood together. And there's two different ways you can do this. If you have an open end here, what I do, I just make a slip knot, slide it over the end, and then run my square lashing. And if you're not able to get to an open end, then you can start your lashing off right here with a clove hitch. So those are the two ways to start, and I'll show you guys how to terminate it also. So what I want to do is here, a little pocket level. I'll get my slip knot on here first, and I just do, when you do the slip knot, leave enough tail on the end so we can terminate it. I always terminate the lashing with a square knot, or also known as a reef knot. So I've got probably about half a foot of tail here. I just simply fold the line over and then run your standing in through the loop, and that gives you an instant slip knot. That's my very, very simple way of starting one of these here. I'll toss the level on. This doesn't have to be exact. I'm trying to get things more or less square here. That looks like it's pretty close. Okay, so once it's anchored and you have your starting point here, just run it around the back side. It's cordage slipping. It's not the best cordage for this operation. Run it around the backside. You want to keep things fairly neat. I'm going to go ahead and check one more time with the level here, just a little pocket level. Yeah, it dropped about an inch. Go over your piece here. Around the backside, and don't trap your tail in there. You're going to need that to, we're going to use that at the end to terminate this. Check one more time, make sure we're more or less level. Yep. When you run your turns around the backside, it's best to stack them. In other words, if you try to keep things neat, don't overlap them. So on the top one here, we're running each successive turn just on top of the other one, just above rather, so they look stacked. And I'll do a shot of those when we're done here. Keep it nice and tight. You can use a toggle. You can wrap this line around a toggle if you want to pull. This line is not very good line, so I'm not going to put that much tension on it. I'm afraid it may break. And I can get a pretty good grip on it. And when I make a pass on the lower turn, I also run the next succeeding turn just below, and we'll go over that once we're done here. This is absolutely the best lashing. It's the #1 go-to for building things in a primitive situation. Give it a good tug there, keep it snug. I'm not going to mention what I'm building here because, as I said, I'm really not sure if it's going to work. It's an idea I came up with. So I hope it'll work. It'd be pretty cool if it does. Okay, we've got about four or five turns above and below here. So what we do now, we're going to start frapping in between here. So when we frap, we're going to bring the line around where we started underneath, go straight across horizontally, and start. You can hear that creaking now. This really snugs these turns down. I don't want to pull too hard on this stuff. I'm afraid it's going to break. This really snugs the lashing down and makes it very secure. I'm not using a toggle on this because I can get a pretty good grip on it. Okay, so now we're going to come up here. So I'm running out of line. So I'm going to run up here. Here's our original tail that we left. And the way I always do these, I use a reef knot or a square knot to terminate these. You can terminate it with a clove hitch if that's what you want. I'm going left over right. I'm going to go 2 turns around. Snug it. Over here is going to be right over left. Two turns. And snug it. And that is very, very secure. I'm going to cut the camera, take you around to the back side, and we'll have a closer look at this. Stay tuned. Okay, here's a closer look at what I'm doing here. This is the fraps in between our turns. Turns are above and below. This is the reef knot or square knot here. And then here's the turns around the back side. And this is what I was talking about, stacking. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything if you overlap, but I mean, if you want everything to look nice and neat, you can just stack your turns one on top of the other. And here's where we started here and stacked them from the top down, and we started here and stacked them from the bottom up. And that's all there is to a square lashing. It's a very, very valuable lashing to know. You can build all types of things, primitive furniture to shelters, pretty much limited by your imagination. That lashing will serve you very well in a primitive situation. Enjoyed the video as much as I did making it today. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I hope all of you are having an outstanding day or night, depending on where you're located. And I will see all of you very soon on the next one. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.